We are live. I'm being told we are live. Wow, this is crazy. I can't believe I'm finally here. There's been so much thought and effort that's gone into this, so much more than I could have even imagined. Chris, who's not going to be on camera today because his hair looks like a bird's nest, he didn't know that I was going to put him on camera today, but I think next week I'm going to introduce you guys to Chris because he's been a huge help on getting this dream I've had for a long time started. I'm so grateful for everybody who's watching, anybody who's tuning in. This is something I've been thinking about and probably overthinking about for truthfully a very long time. And these are things that I've learned over the last 10 years when I started this path of self-development that I wanted to share with you guys. I've gone through some things this year that have been pretty eye-opening, and those are things, as well as my story that I'm going to share with you guys openly, that have gotten me to the point where I can say that I truly am happy. I am living a life of my own design, and I think that is true freedom. I have the ability to think for myself, and so many things that we're going to talk about. I'm so excited, guys. We're going to be talking the scope of this podcast, I'm going to say, is about the self. So we're not going to get into things like spirituality, although I think those things are very important. I just don't think it's the scope of this podcast. And in the same respect, we're not going to get into things that are outside of our control. So we're not going to get into politics. We're not going to get into all the things that are going on in the world. This podcast is lessons that I have learned and things that I'm going to go over with experts to help us make the most out of this life. I always think of this picture of me sitting on a porch someday. I'm an old man and I'm looking back on my life, and I've always just had this vision, like I want to make the most of that. I want to look back and think that the time that I spent it well. And I didn't spend it selfishly, but I spent it growing in relationships. And these are all things that I'm going to talk about. I don't want to give anything away, but I do just kind of want to let you guys know what to expect on this podcast. So tune in with me. Next week, we are going to be starting with a 2-part series. We're going to be talking about, on this particular episode, which again is a 2-part series, time and money. And more importantly, how to budget those things and how to spend them effectively. Every hour that you spend doing something 365 days a week comes out to 21 days. If you were to sleep 8 hours a day and wake up, you would be doing something, whether it's social media, sleeping an extra hour, whatever that is, that accumulates to 21 days every single year. So if we're thinking of ourselves on the porch and we're 85, 100 years old, we don't want to look back and think, oh my gosh, I spent 21 days a year or 42 days a year or whatever on social media. Just, again, I'm not against social media. I'm all for it. But I think we have a lot more time and a lot more resources than we think. And so this podcast is going to go over self-discovery, self-discipline, and self-development, and some of the things that I've learned over the years. So tune in. Next week is going to be our first episode. I'm super excited. I'm super grateful for everybody that's here. And last thing, this is a self-funded project. I'm not going to ask for anything. I'm not monetizing this. I don't want anything out of this. I can say that with a pure heart, that I don't want anything out of this. But if you guys are following me or not following me on Facebook, you can tune in. I've started a page, the Pursuing Happiness podcast. I've also started a YouTube page, so these will be uploaded to YouTube. So give me a like, what am I supposed to say? A subscription, do all of those things, the YouTube things. I'm new at this, guys. So anyway, thanks again.